Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video we're going to learn how to crochet coasters, and we are going to make them with the corner to corner stitch, and we're going to make a heart design, so that's why the pattern is called Be My Valentine Crochet Coasters. But you can also use this as a motif and you can make a blanket. You can start crocheting from the left side and connect it to the right side and make a scarf. There are many ways you can use this. One of the ways are coasters. So let's see how we're going to start our pattern. And this is a pattern, the design I found it on Pinterest, I think, and I don't have this site, it's not my design. What I did though is, because I know that some of us don't have printers, what I did is I took the design that I have in the beginning of the video and I put it on this square paper. And what I did is on every stitch that we see an X, I colored it in with red. And even though we don't see it on the design, on every space that's from the left to the right, on every space that is from here to here, we have to cover all that with a different color. And what I did is I added an extra row, so everywhere we see green is going to be white, and everywhere we see red I am going to make the heart with red yarn. I'm going to be using an acrylic yarn and a 4mm crochet hook. And when we do corner to corner, I'm going to start down here where it's my first square, and then I'm going to go to row 2, where every time that we change rows we add an extra square because we're making increases, and that's going to happen up to the 9th row. So I am going to make my first square, then I'm going to go to the 2nd row where I'm going to start from the bottom to the top, and I'm going to make 2 white squares. Then I'm going to go to row 3, and every time we change rows we go diagonally. That's why I have my numbers here on the bottom side and on the right side. So when I go diagonally I start from number 3, and if I have my squares right, 1, 2, 3, that means that I'm going to end up in the square where I have the number 3 again. Then we're going to go to the 4th row where we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, 5th row, and so on. So let's start our design, and we're going to start with our first square. And I'm going to start with my white. And I'm going to start with my beginning knot. So I'm going to make my knot, and I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once I have my 6 chains, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 chains from my hook, and I'm going to put my hook in there and make a double crochet. So my first 3 chains and the double crochet that I just made give me my first 2 double crochet for the row. Go to the next chain, make a double crochet, 3, and make 1 double crochet in my last chain. So we have 4 double crochet, and this counts as 1 box on my corner to corner stitch. So each box that we're going to be making is going to be made out of 4 double crochet. So every time that I start a new row, I'm going to start with a chain 6, and that's going to happen up until I'm making my increases, up until I'm opening my triangle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm starting row 2 where I'm gonna make 1, 2 white squares. So I have 6 chains, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 chains from the hook, and I'm going to make a double crochet. So the 3 chains and my double crochet give me my first 2 stitches. Next chain, 3 double crochet, and the last chain, 4 double crochet. So we see that our yarn is on the bottom left, the yarn that we started our work with. So I'm going to turn my work so the chain 3 is on the left side. So I'm going to put my hook under the chain 3 space. So this is the chain 3 and the yarn is on the right now. So I'm going to put my hook under the chain 3 space, and I'm going to make a slip stitch, and I want to start my second square. So I'm going to make 1, 2, 3 chains and 3 double crochet on the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So we just finished our second row, and I have my first row with 1 square and my second row with 2 squares. So we're going to start row 3, and I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 white squares. So we start from here, we move from downwards to upwards. So we move upwards our 2 squares, and now we move downwards to count our 3 squares. Next row we're going to move upwards, and so on. So I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chains again, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 chains from the hook, and I'm going to make a double crochet. I'm going to make a double crochet in the next chain, so that's my 3rd stitch, and a double crochet on the 4th chain, so that's my 4th double crochet for the first square. So I am going to turn my work, and an easy way to understand which is the right side to be creating your row is if you move upwards your work, it's going to seem as if this is a staircase, and each square is each of your steps on your staircase. So we always want to be moving upwards on our staircase, and I'm going to put my hook on the chain 3 space. So the top part of your step is always going to be your chain 3 space. I'm going to put my hook under there, and I'm going to make a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my hook in the next chain 3 space of my next square over here, and I'm going to make a slip stitch, and 1, 2, 3 chains and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So this was row 3, and I have 1, 2, 3 squares. So now we're going to start row 4, and we're going to move upwards, and we're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4 white squares. See, we start from the number 4 and we end in the number 4 square. So 1, 2, 3, 4 white squares. So I'm going to start with a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 chains from the hook, and I'm going to put my hook in there and make a double crochet. 1 double crochet in the next chain, and 1 double crochet in my last chain. So I have my first 4 stitches, my first square. So I'm going to turn my work and move it upwards. So I have my staircase again, and I want to move to each step at a time. So I'm going to go in the first step, and I'm going to put my hook under the chain 3 space and make a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 more double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go to our next step, or the next box, and I'm going to put my hook under the chain 3 space, make a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So the chain 3 and the 3 double crochet gives me 4 double crochet on each box. So this is my last box, or my last step of the staircase, and I'm going to put my hook in there in the chain 3 space, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. And let's start our next row, our 5th row. So we're going to start moving, counting downwards, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white squares. So I start from my 5, my 5th square over here, and end up on the square where I have a number 5 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white squares. So we're going to start again by chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to start making a double crochet from the 4th stitch of the hook. 2, next stitch, 3, and my next stitch, my last chain, 4. So my first square is done with 4 double crochet. Turn my work and move my staircase upwards. So we're going to put our hook on the first square, or in the first step, and I'm going to put my hook under the chain 3 space and make a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Let's go to our next square and put our hook in the next chain 3 space, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. Let's put your hook in the next chain 3 space. So we're going to the next step, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So let's go to our last square, or the last step, and we're going to put our hook under the chain 3 space, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So this was our 5th row with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. So we're going to start our 6th row, and we're going to move upwards. So we're going to have 1 white square, 1, 2, 3, 4 red squares, and 1 white square to end a row. So 1 white, 1, 2, 3, 4 red squares, and 1 white. So I'm going to start with a chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 chains from the hook. This is our first 2 double crochet, next chain, 3, and the last chain, 4 double crochet. So turn your work, and as if your staircase is moving upwards, put your hook in the first chain 3 space, or in the top of your first step, and make a slip stitch. So this was my first white box. So now we're going to make 4 red ones. So I'm going to attach my red color, and I'm going to grab the yarn and pull it through the loop. I'm going to tighten up the white yarn, the white loop. So I'm going to make 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space where we just made our slip stitch. 1, 2, 3 double crochet. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space or in the top of your next step over here, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space or in the top of your next step, make a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So this is our third red box. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So this was our fourth and last red square. So we are going to attach the square on our work. So make a slip stitch in the next chain 3 space, and we're going to attach our white yarn. Grab the yarn, pull it through the loop, and cut the yarn. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and make 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So we were moving upwards, downwards, upwards, downwards. So we were moving upwards on our 6th row. We did 1 white, 4 red, and 1 white. Now we're going to go to our 7th row, and we're going to start with 1 white box, 1, 2, 3, 4 red boxes, and 1, 2 white box. So I start from the square where it says 7 and end up in the square where it says 7. So 1 white, 1, 2, 3, 4 red, and 2 white. So I'm going to start with my chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put your hook in the 4th chain from the hook. 2, 3, 4 double crochet. Turn your work so your staircase is moving upwards. Put your hook in the first chain 3 space and make a slip stitch. So we're going to attach our red yarn now, and grab the yarn, pull it through the loop, cut your white yarn, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and make 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space where we just made our slip stitch with the white yarn. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space, make a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space, slip stitch, chain 3, and make 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space, slip stitch, chain 3, and make 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So this was our 1, 2, 3, our 4th square. I'm going to put in my hook in the next chain 3 space and make a slip stitch, and we are going to finish our row with 2 white squares. So grab the yarn, pull it through the loop, tighten up, and I'm gonna try to bring up the yarn in the next row. So I'm not going to cut it yet. See if we're going to save ourselves some weaving at the end. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space where we just did our slip stitch. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the last square in here, in the last chain 3 space, slip stitch, chain 3, and we're going to work 1, 2, 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. So this was our 7th row, and we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares. So let's go to our 8th row, where we're going to move upwards, and we're going to start with 1, 2 white squares and continue with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red, and end our row with 1 white square. So let's start with 1, 2 white squares, 5 red, and 1 white. So chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put your hook in the 4th chain from the hook, make a double crochet. So that was our 2nd stitch, 3, and the last chain, 4. So we have our work turned already, and I'm going to put my hook in my first step of the staircase if the staircase is moving upwards, and this is our first square over here. On the first chain 3 space, make a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 more, double crochet in the same chain 3 space, 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space or in the top of your next step, make a slip stitch, and let's try and bring up the red yarn. No, it's too far away, and it's got to be too visible, so let's cut the yarn and reattach it. So grab the yarn, pull it through the loop, tighten up the white yarn and cut it, and I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put my hook in the same chain 3 space where I just made my slip stitch. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space, make a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space and make a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So we have done 3 squares so far. Put your hook in the next stitch, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So this was our 4th square, slip stitch, chain 3 to make our last red square for this row. 1, 2, 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space on your last step over here, make a slip stitch, and we're going to attach our white yarn to make our last white square. And cut the red yarn, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So this was our 8th row with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares. And now we're gonna start our 9th and last row of increases. After our 9th row, we're gonna start making decreases, so we're gonna start closing up our square. So this is our 9th row, and we're gonna move downwards because we were moving upwards in the previous row, and we're going to make 1, 2 white squares, 1, 2, 3, 4 red, and 1, 2, 3 white. So 1, 2 white squares, 1, 2, 3, 4 red. So let's start with our first 2 white squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 4th chain from the hook, 2, next stitch, 3, and our last stitch, our last chain, 4. I have already turned my work, so I'm going to put my hook in the top of my first step over here in the first square. On the first chain 3 space, put your hook in there, make a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space to attach the square to the rest of your work. So this was our first 2 white squares. Now we're gonna make our 4 red squares. So attach the red yarn, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space where we just made the slip stitch. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space, right over here, make a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 more double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So this was our 3rd red square. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space in here, slip stitch, chain 3, and 1, 2, 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space, slip stitch, and we have completed our 4 red squares. So we are going to attach our white yarn to make our last 3 white squares. So grab the yarn, pull it through the loop, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and put your hook in the same chain 3 space and make 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space, slip stitch, and 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the same chain 3 space and make 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the next chain 3 space, slip stitch, chain 3, and make 3 double crochet in the same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3.